Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama and today I am bringing you a ZVT. This is going to be on Ohana and it's going to be between colqxc spawning up in the top left hand corner and spawning down in the bottom right is ToXSiK, who is actually on SC2S Gaming. I don't even know if it's gaming, but SC2S, Starcraft 2 strategy. Sounds good to me. Yeah, and so it's going to be ZVT Ohana, and I love this matchup so much. So many people don't like it, and I am a Zerg, so some people are like, oh, well, you're biased towards the Zerg part of it, because right now everybody thinks Zerg is OP in this matchup, and they all complain and yeah, because that's the favorite thing for people to do. But I actually like it from the Terran perspective, because I still think there is so much to... Sorry, I love this text. Aw. See, that's nice. Why don't people do that on ladder? You're a fine player and person. That's so nice. But I still think there's a lot to be discovered, a lot of fun things that have still yet to be done. And personally, I really love the aggression that Terran can put on. So whenever I'm a Zerg player and I get completely owned by a Terran who's like dropping me all over the place, I know it's a lot of work for him, right? I know it's a lot of micro and stuff like that. But it's just so fun when he's just all over the place and there's constant aggression, just constantly non-stop streaming of units across the map, dropping all over the place, and it just kind of makes the game a lot more fun because you're just like running back and forth, trying to defend your third, trying to defend your main, trying to make sure that your queens stay alive, and then injecting with those. And if it dies, you got to make new queens. And then he has banshees, and you have no anti-air, and I don't know. It's just a fun matchup in my opinion, as opposed to some other matchups which can sometimes be a little bit more stale, such as the current metagame of ZVP. And I also like ZVP for other reasons, just kind of the transition of units over the stages of the game, how armies build up. But there's definitely that first 8 minutes of the game where there's really not a lot that goes on. So at least this matchup kind of has a little bit of something. The Terran doesn't have to quite stall out for that 8-minute time, and instead you can also see fast little marine pushes, things like that right here. So we have a 2 racks opening up. So it's not really a 2 racks, it was a 1 racks gasless expand, but he's going to be throwing down a very fast second barracks right here, as opposed to did he even get the supply depot? No, he did not. So look at that, because most of the time when you do a 1 racks expand, you'll open up depot, barracks, then you'll get your command center, and then right at 17 supply you get that second depot so that you can start getting out more SCVs. As you can see, he is supply blocked right there. But I'm imagining that's an intentional supply block, because then you're going to have this command center finish, of course, but you still get that second depot usually. Did he get... No, I don't think anything too crazy happened right there. Did I miss something? I swear I did not miss anything. The timings just seem a little bit different from what I'm used to. Strange. Okay, well, yeah. So a lot of times then you'll see, gas taken right after some racks right there or something like that. But he's just going to be opening up with 3 racks pretty much right off the bat right here. So this to me, 4 racks, excuse me, is saying, you know what? He's not going to be one of the Terrans that's going to sit back and just get a 3rd orbital, and then just kind of chill for a while. The Zerg takes a 3rd base, etc. He's going to want to go for that 2-base aggression. We'll have to see what exactly ToXSiK's going to do, if ToXSiK's going to be taking a 3rd base or not. He does have 100 gas right there just for speed, so he did pull out, so nothing too crazy going to be going on there. There's not going to be any sort of all-in or anything like that. But you have to also note that this was spotted by QXC. So if you're wondering why is he building this wall right here, this is exactly, if you check one of my Winning with Ease videos, this is exactly, well, what just canceled there? Exactly the response that I actually have for defending. If you see that gas and they're still on 2 bases, it's 6 minutes, right? He's still on 2 bases. You know what? Maybe he's going to be doing some sort of aggression, some sort of pressure, whatever it is. And so you want to get that wall up. You want to get the bunker. You want to get the barracks, because you want to prepare for that Roach Bane bust or Lings or whatever it is that he's trying to do. And this right here is a solid way to generally hold that. So he does see that ToXSiK does come over here and take a 3rd. So it's a good chance that he may just leave it at 1 bunker. If that 3rd wasn't taken, he may have thrown up a 2nd or 3rd bunker in addition to that single one right there. But instead, he's going to continue to add racks on. He's up to, what, 7 barracks right now. So this is definitely going to be going for some sort of early push. No gas has still yet to be taken. And my question is, what does ToXSiK know? ToXSiK only knows of these 2 racks, probably... Oh, he did not scout that. So he doesn't even know about the additional racks up there. I mean, I'm assuming he would know that 1 rack was up there. And here he's going to go ahead and go in for a scout. He's going to see 2 additional barracks. Plus, if he looks up this ramp, he'd know that there's the 3 barracks right there. So he'll actually see 1, 2, and he might make it over here to 3 and 4. I don't know. These Marines are going to be moving pretty fast over there, so they will be able to pick that off. In the meantime, rocks being taken out by ToXSiK. A lot of Zergs need to work on doing this, and I mean all the way up to Masters Leagues. A lot of time you'll see Grandmasters do it, such as ToXSiK. But if you are Masters, Diamond stuff, please take these rocks out. If you have some units sitting around, if you've got some queens, tell them to focus on those rocks. It's so much more beneficial to run right through here to pick these off, as opposed to having and get over there to defend your third, as opposed to having to run around constantly. Because if he gets a siege up right here or something, you are in trouble. So it looks like colqxc is trying to make a little push out right here. And will he be able to? It looks like he will. I don't think ToXSiK has enough units to defend this at all. Does he have a Baneling Nest? Not yet. It's just going to be finishing right now here in 5 seconds. So these Marines are going to get there at such a great time. This is a perfect little timing here for QXC. And I don't know if we're going to see ToXSiK have enough to defend it. I do love that he's coming in for a little bit of a flank, possibly. I don't even know if that's really a flank. You could consider that. He's going to try and do some damage, but I don't think he's going to really have enough lings. He's trying to get us surrounded here. QXC not even really needing to micro. He's doing a tiny bit of star step micro. I like the pool right here for ToXSiK, pulling them back up into the main or into the natural. That's exactly what he wants to do. He needs to be careful not to lose too many drones that are transferring down there. But here QXC can continue to push up. And where are the units here for ToXSiK? This is so scary for ToXSiK. I don't think he has any units out on the map right now. He has 1 Zergling and 6 Banelings morphing right here. They are morphing right next, though. Will QXC lose this to these Banelings? It looks like they're going to get surrounded decently well. The Banelings coming in. They're going to hit some nice hits right there. QXC, unfortunately, not able to really micro that well enough. And ToXSiK able to take that out, saves the hatchery, and actually saves both these queens with very little HP. That being said, he has lost a decent amount. He lost his third base, only 11 drone kills. Very well done with the pooling of the drones right there. But now we see QXC continuing to put the aggression on right here, and I'm not sure that ToXSiK's going to have enough to deal with this. He's going to be morphing in a ton of Banelings, actually, so that should be enough to pick it off. He's going to lose a couple of Overlords here in the middle of the map, though. A little bit of a miss rally, it looks like. In the meantime, we do see engineering bays being added on, getting some gas. How many barracks are we up to? 8 barracks now, and now we see that QXC is going to start pushing forward a little bit. Baneling speed has been started. I don't know if it's going to be enough. There's going to be some scans, so creep tumors will go down. He should be taking out the active ones. I would imagine he's going to poke up, able to get a queen right there. Going to be able to take out the rest of these creep tumors if he uses another scan. Doesn't look like he will. Instead, he's just spreading his Marines out among the creep right here, and I really love the patience here by ToXSiK. He's playing this out so well because QXC's not trying to push in too much right here. He doesn't want to get engaged with all these Banelings, but instead he's letting his opponent gather up too many Lings and Zerglings, it looks like, and he's just going to barely save this Baneling nest. No, it's not. It's going to go down. So he's not actually going to get Baneling speed right there. But now he's going to be coming out with some units to engage. Nice Baneling hits right there. We'll be able to clean up most of these Marines. And with the Lings and Banelings on the ramp, he's going to actually be able to take that out. And QXC needs to be careful right here with this remainder of Lings, as they are going to go down if he tries to push out. So it looks like these 4 Marines may fall to the Lings right here. Yep. So he's going to have a little pack to run around, and he might be able to snipe the third possibly, which could be a huge blow right here to ToXSiK. He's going to actually catch these, though, and just in time with his Lings. Very smart pull right there, able to pick off the Marines before they can do any damage. In the meantime, though, we do see that QXC going to be heading over here to drop his orbital. I do love that an Overlord was there, drop and creep, just to make it a little bit more annoying. Yet another thing more Zerg players need to do, drop creep at all those expansions. Just make it so annoying. And now we're also going to see that ToXSiK's going to deny the third base from going over. And in the middle of a transfer and reactors going down, ToXSiK almost able to poke in right there. And this could be huge right here as he starts morphing in more Banelings. He's going to be able to go for a huge hit. I don't know if QXC really has enough to deal with this. Stim is not finished yet. He has 50 seconds till that. Does he have any medevacs or anything out on the field? No, a factory just in production now. So he has a ton of Marine Marauder production, but he does not have any sort of production for medevacs, and it looks like we're going to see ToXSiK actually back off. So I'm very surprised that he had not engaged there, as I think his force would actually be able to win right there. He does have the 1-1 upgrades. I think they both do. No, it's just 1-0. 1-1 has not finished yet for QXC, so if he would have pushed right there, I think he could have done a ton of damage, but instead he's going to go ahead and wait it out. He's going to continue getting his upgrades back home, adding on an infestation pit, adding a 4th base, and just use this time right here to go ahead and tech up instead of go for a sort of all-in sort of hit. It would have been a decent trade, but you know what? No reason to really force it at this point, I suppose ToXSiK is saying to himself. Instead, adding a macro hatch, getting that 4th, I mean, just everything right there, no problem whatsoever with just teching up. I would like to see him take some additional geysers right here for when this infestation pit does finish. He's only got 3 extractors, and he's got 3 more open, plus the 2 he can take over there at his 4th, once his 4th does go up here. So once again, pooping some creep over at the 4th of his base, going to be checking into his opponent's main, and will he get to see 2 command centers also going down here for his opponent. And finally, 15 minutes into the game, we are going to see QXC starting to add on some medevacs to his army. More banelings being morphed in, though, over here for ToXSiK, and once these finish, we may see a nice little engage right here, and this could be very tough for QXC to defend. He does have a decent-sized army. Is 2-2 done, though? It looks like it is, so he's going to be pushing in with the 2-2 upgrades right here. The Lings need to stream further forward. They're not quite getting there, and it looks like QXC may actually be able to hold this off. I don't know, it's going to be very close. Actually, ToXSiK able to do so much damage. The 2-2 upgrades versus the 1-1 just doing so much damage, and now he's going to be able to push over right there, kill off some SCVs with the Lings. Very nicely done. Now he's going to once again turn around and engage, and the Lings are going to be able to do a decent amount of damage. Will this be enough to clean it up? I'm not quite sure. Once again, you have to remember the upgrades are so in favor of ToXSiK right now that these Lings are trading so efficiently, and normally if the upgrades are even right there, QXC can hold that, but ToXSiK able to get a nice advantage, and 2-2 just now starting. So more banelings will be morphed in over here for ToXSiK, going to try and continue with the relentless aggression. In the meantime, though, we do see that QXC has taken a kind of sneaky 4th base over here, morphing it into a planetary right now. If ToXSiK cannot get a Ling or anything over there before that, that's going to go ahead and finish up, and that will be very difficult for him to break down. Hive is going to be finishing up there right now, so we can start his fast 3-3 upgrades, as well as adrenal glands. So many people do not start the adrenal glands upgrade, and will he use these banelings to go ahead and take out some SCVs? It looks like he will, and is he going to get them? I'm not quite sure. There we go. 1 hit does go down. Will he get any more? And a decent number of worker kills, I want to say. He's got 17 overall. Probably could have caught a couple more right there, as it looks like 3, 4, 5 of those did survive because of a lack of a second baneling to hit. And even more Lings. There's the 3-3 upgrades going down now. I love how he's staying ahead in this upgrade advantage right here. But I'd really want to start to see... I would really love to start seeing him use this infestation pit, getting pathogen glands, possibly going into some sort of hive tech, Ultralisk, adding that to the army. If he added Ultras right now, he could definitely utilize the 3-3 upgrades that he's getting on his melee right here, plus having the Ultralisk Carapace upgrade. And here we are going to see ToXSiK moving over, and he will easily be able to take out this planetary fortress. Those SCVs are not going to be able to do anything right there. It looks like we're going to see QXC try and come over here to do some damage. He will actually be able to start picking off some of these banelings, so that's at least a small victory for him there, but he will lose that hidden 4th base. So it was a valiant effort, but unfortunately ToXSiK was able to take that out right there. And ToXSiK really starting to oversaturate here at his 4th base, as he is nearly mined out and finally taking the additional extractors. So he's taking how many? 5 extractors right now, getting the Ultralisk Den, and now we're going to see him start to move into the later parts of the game. So he spent a decent portion of that game simply sitting on those Lings and banelings. He needs to be careful not to lose his 4th base, though, morphing in some more banelings, and it's going to be a close one right here, and it looks like QXC actually just going to simply back off. And I love to look at the supplies still, though. Look at the army advantage here for QXC. He's surprisingly this entire game been able to maintain a 20 to 30 supply lead. And once again, ToXSiK going to go over here, check out this 4th base. See that it's not quite up right now, but of course you can say that supply lead is just because of all of these reactors and stuff. He just has so much production right now that he can easily produce, but he is going to be mining out of his main base right here and his natural, so he's simply down to one mining base left, and he's going to have to secure a fourth or something like that. Looks like we may be seeing an engagement. No, he's just going to be able to force a siege up. One ToXSiK is underway right now, but it looks like ToXSiK is just struggling in the resources. He has 76 drones right there, but it's just not really producing a lot for him. He has been massing up so many lings and banelings that that's where everything has gone, and unfortunately it doesn't look like ToXSiK's making any sort of flank attempt. I would really like to see him come around with some units, possibly even just head over to that third base and stuff to try and take that out, but instead he's just going to slowly be advancing here, possibly waiting, and there we go. We're going to see a small flank right there on one of those siege tanks. Very nicely done here for ToXSiK. ToXSiK going to continue to be able to push forward these siege tanks, trying to focus down the banelings as best as they can. It looks like they're doing a decent job, but it looks like the lings may be able to finish them off. They do have the extra upgrades right here, and it's going to be very close. Reinforcements do fall in, though, for colqxc, and now colqxc is going to be able to do some serious damage as ToXSiK kind of has to back off and wait to rebuild. colqxc kind of waiting right here at the fourth, going to now start pushing forward. He will be able to start picking off some of these banelings. Ultras come through, though, and a huge baneling hit does go down for ToXSiK. So with these ultras, it may not be enough. It's going to get a nice surround there for ToXSiK. Possibly he almost got it. Siege tank will fall, though, and once again I have to emphasize that I feel like these upgrades are really paying off for ToXSiK at this point, as he simply is just able to continue advancing forward right here, and colqxc going to have to fall back, and now the supplies have almost evened up. A fourth base trying to be taken by colqxc, but once again, what did I say players need to do? They need to start pooping some creep, because now once this overload goes down, it's a minute until colqxc can even land this command center. colqxc is basically mining on his last legs right here. He doesn't have anything left. Some SCVs trying to come up here to mine this fourth, but ToXSiK's not going to have any of that. In the meantime, he's taken a fifth base himself, and now it looks like colqxc will finally be able to get up there and establish this fourth base in a minute, of course, as this creep does recede. But will he get caught? Will he be surrounded right here? He doesn't have too much army, actually. Out on the map, it looks like infestors now being added to the army. That will be so huge to just simply lock down those units for all of the baneling hits and just lock them down so they can't be kiting these marauders. And ToXSiK is definitely in a nice position. We'll have to see if colqxc is able to do something. He has a ton of medevacs overhead. Look at how many medevacs. That is 8, 10, 20 supply simply worth of medevacs floating over top there. So each little unit here, does he have more? I don't know. He doesn't. So each unit basically has its own healing unit. But here we go. It looks like ToXSiK now going to be pushing in. The 3-3 upgrades are just finishing right now for colqxc. So that's definitely going to help him out, as now the upgrades have finally evened out and a fifth base has been established. But it looks like it's going to be forced to lift off right here, as ToXSiK has seen it. And send some units over to pick it off. In the meantime, though, we do have the ultras now starting to go ahead and fight and pick off a few units. Are the infestors out right there? Yes, they are. They're burrowed, though, as they did not have the link support. And now we're going to see some banelings rolling in, starting to clean up a few units. They do run into most of the marauders, though, so not too much going to be done. And, oh, these are actually queens, not infestors. Where are the infestors? There they are. So the infestors are sitting back at the base. It looks like this fifth base may actually drop here for ToXSiK, so that would be a huge win for colqxc. And it looks like ToXSiK going to try and push over in the he's going to save, not survive, save his fifth base right there. Some more units, though, are now starting to join up, and this is still such a close game. There are a lot of infestors, though, and that's what colqxc needs to be careful of. He's starting to spread out his units, and it looks like here's going to be a final engagement, I would imagine, here, as he's going to start pushing forward. The infestors are going to continue to drop these fungal growths, and it looks like the Zerg player ToXSiK going to be able to get a nice cleanup on this, as well as take out almost all of these medevacs right here. Will one survive? One survives with 15 health, not going to be too much, though, and these tanks are now going to go down as the Zerg player continues to push forward, has now taken a 40 supply lead over his opponent, and finally going to start pulling back. But look at all of these infestors, all of these ultras. 7 more were on the way, so he's got 4 here. How many ultras does he have? He's got 6 on the field, 6 on the way, so 12 ultras with these infestors. That's a very difficult composition to deal with, and colqxc is down to this one mining base left right here, as opposed to his opponent, who still can mine a tiny bit on his natural, a slightly more from his third, as he didn't have mules mine that. He's got a well-saturated fourth and fifth base, so he's just got a very nice income, as you can see from the income tab right there. Though he's continued to increase his drunken actually, so he's up to 83. So many Ultralisk on the field, more Infestors, 11 Ultras on the field, 2 more on the way. And this might be a crushing blow here from ToXSiK as he's going to try and push in. It looks like QXC going to try and do a little bit of damage over here to this 4th base. Knows he's going to have to back up, and he really does not have too much army left right here. He's still down that 30 supply. Now we're going to see ToXSiK start to advance slowly, and he doesn't have any tanks or anything like this. So once a Fun Growth goes down, he's going to be able to simply move in and just start demolishing that army. And it looks like this might finally be it here, as all of these Ultras going to go in. Some infested Terrans being spit out all over the place. They'll be able to push over there, take out that 3rd base if they want, and he can slowly push his way up to take out this 4th base. 5th base trying to be established, but a burrowed Zergling over here going to be able to finish that off for QXC, and now we're simply going to see ToXSiK come in and just wipe out this planetary fortress so quickly, and that's it. GG from QXC, and ToXSiK able to take the game. So wow, that was just a crazy exciting game right there. I loved watching the aggression all the way from the beginning when this 3rd was picked off by a fast 7-8 racks there from QXC. But at the same time, it was so great to see ToXSiK able to defend that, able to come back, establish his 3rd again, and really just kind of transition into a nice macro game where he was able to stay ahead in upgrades for the most part. And just really dominate in that way with some nice pushes, nice hits over here, denials of the 3rd mining time for a while. So my name's Mr. Llama. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast, and I will see you guys next time.